In this tutorial, we're going to look at generator functions in ES6 and how you can use them to create functions that can be paused and then later resumed. So in order to create a generator function, we need to use the function keyword followed by a name for the function, which includes an asterisk. And the asterisk can either go directly before the generator name or after the function keyword. So if we were to just call our generator function as it is, you'll see that it doesn't actually run any code inside the function. In fact, if we put a console.log inside the generator function, you'll see that doesn't actually get into our output because we actually need to call the next function that's available on our generator object in order to run the code that we've declared inside our function. So if you've been through the previous tutorial on the symbol iterator, you'll remember that the next function actually returns an object with a value and a done property. So our value is actually undefined, so how do we actually pass back some data from our generator function? Well, we do that with the yield keyword. So simply putting a value after the yield keyword returns that as the value property from our call to the next function. But yield also has the effect of pausing the execution of the generator function. So you'll see that that second console.log doesn't actually go to the output, and that's because the generator function is paused, waiting for another call to the next function. You can also pass in parameters to generator functions too, and even used with the yield keyword to pass it back as a value when the next function is called again. So we can also return values from our generator function to set the done property to true to indicate that the generator function is finished. But of course we need to call the next function one more time, as the generator function is still paused on the second yield keyword. And you'll see by returning a value, we get that value back and the done property is now set to true. So a more concrete example of using generator functions might be something like a counter or something that's keeping track of unique IDs, but that never really has an endpoint and needs pausing after each unique value has been created. So having a while loop that's always going to evaluate to true is usually a bad thing in JavaScript, as it will actually create an infinite loop. But in the case of generator functions, it's actually quite useful, especially in this example, because we can keep incrementing the index value whilst we want to create more unique IDs. So that's just a simple example of how you might make use of generator functions within your code.